Hello everyone, welcome back to Trek-A-Day, and as always, spoilers. My initial thoughts right after watching the episode are intended for people who have seen the episode, and just getting through my first reaction to it. I just hit stop on Hegemony, the Season 2 finale of Strange New Worlds. And I'm a bit mixed on this one. It was enjoyable, but at the same time, I also feel like it ended a little flat-footed. I felt a little disengaged, a little empty after watching this. It just wasn't very drawn in or excited, so it kind of ended on a sour note. But at the same time, I found it to be an enjoyable overall episode. The Enterprise responds to a distress signal from the Cayuga as the Gorn have attacked a colony. And we finally get the conflict we've been awaiting since the premiere of this season. And it ended up being an episode focused on tension and horror, and I think that's part of where I wasn't quite as emotionally engaged or didn't feel quite as much tension as I hoped, given the premise. And I think part of that was that while it was still a good episode, everything was structured well, it looked great, the majority of the performances were great, everyone did a pretty good job, it was also, it felt very decent, but by the numbers and just not surprising or overall that exciting. It was just kind of a weird feeling where I was enjoying it, but it wasn't blowing me away. It wasn't really shocking me. It was, the plot pretty much unfolded exactly beat for beat how I thought it would. So it was really just, I don't know, there wasn't that engaging moment where I was sucked in, total suspension of disbelief, and feeling what these characters are feeling and really wanting to see what happens next. I just felt disengaged the whole time, where it was fun, but I wasn't drawn in the way I hoped I was going to be. My favorite moments overall were probably with Christine Chapel and Spock's attempted rescue of her on the Cayuga, where it kind of went full alien for a little bit. That part was a little more effective for me. I did enjoy that. But part of, I think, the disappointment was how it felt a little rushed and petered out towards the end. It felt like an episode that was building up to a story that maybe had 10-15 minutes left to wrap up, and then to be continued. It just didn't quite feel like a narrative that earned that season-ending, to be continued level of tension and awaiting and expectation. It just didn't quite reach that level for me. So it was one I have to sit on a little bit, because viewing it not as the season ender and just as kind of thinking of it in isolation as an episode, it was enjoyable and an enjoyable continuation of this version of the Gorn that they've been creating since season 1. But it didn't quite have that big season-ending impact, and I felt like it needed that even more so because of the situation with the obvious delay in season 3, and I was just really hoping for something to really take my breath away and make the anticipation of a third season feel exciting, and disappointed that it's going to be so long. And I don't know, for me, I'm interested in the continuation and the conclusion of the narrative that was unfolding here, but not overly so. So overall, for me, it was a good episode, but not a great episode. And one thing that I think is going to be, some people are going to like it, I don't know. They introduced a young Scotty, and it didn't work for me at all. I did not believe the performance, and the casting, he's way too young for Scotty, thinking of the time frame where these things line up, like, I don't know, it just didn't feel right. It didn't click. And it is also leading towards that thought process that this show, if it should go on for several more years, who knows what's going to happen right now, that it's eventually going to be piece by piece morphing into just a remake of TOS. I don't know. They keep adding these little pieces, building in that direction. I'm just kind of wonder what the long-term game plan is here. But I don't know. That kind of stuck out to me as a sore thumb and didn't quite work. But yeah, just overall, the episode was just about what I expected it to be, and that I found to be a little underwhelming.